the bigger ones, and then try and make their mark on the scene. And this will be a great way to do it up against a team like Team Secret. Team Secret, as the panel was saying, most people know what Team Secret are going to do. Like, you look at this draft as well, the panel were not surprised. I don't think anyone's really surprised with like a Weeha SF. Like, you got Ease, like Ember Spirit kicking in. You run your Nyx Assassin, you run your Bane, you run your Undying. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So Newbee Young, their prep work should be pretty much ready for Team Secret, especially when Team Secret are one of the top 3 teams. You know you're going to prepare heavily against these guys.
The one advantage that Newbee Young have over Team Secret right now is they have a lot of data, like you said, to work with, because they've seen so many of their games. You should have a rough idea of what Team Secret are going to run. If they don't get the Slardar, then they just kind of hard replace it with the Nyx Assassin, because it's a stunning semi-core that doesn't need a lot of farm. And then you've got a Pylai Die hero that can pretty much just trade right clicks, a teamfight hero in Puppy, and sort of the mobile carry that can catch up with a little bit of farm if he needs in the Ember Spirit for...
A Newbee Y really want to try and take this fight. Weeha gets an early raise, and they're going to charge up. They realize that Misery is slightly isolated with a follow-up stun. How much damage have you really got when Misery gets a double stun like that? It's going to work, but the Iron Shot damage was too much. Newbee Y will steal first blood. They're trying to get the Alchemist out of here. Pylai Die right behind him, the Spirit Breaker. While they got that stun, the Iron Shot's going to wear off, but the charge is available, and he'll go through Pylai Die to charge towards Weeha. Puppy with Brain Sap back up again. And what have you got? SEC looking for that Shadow Strike damage, but he can't get it. In fact, even the Alchemist being backed out by Undying, who got so many decays stolen in from Newbee Y during that fight, ends up being a 1-for-1. But this Alchemist missed out the big thing. He didn't have Grieval's Greed at the start of this fight, doesn't get the bounty rune, and in fact now even the bottom rune gets picked up by the off-lane Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and I think that it was okay if the Alch was able to get the bounty rune there and he had his Grieval's Greed leveled up, then I would have said that was a decent fight, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and you're going to see Team Secret do what they've been doing for the last month or so, maybe even longer than that. They're going to run the dual lane, give Misery the one-on-one matchup, and even if this isn't a winning matchup for Darkseer, or if it is a winning matchup for Darkseer, I think people sort of misinterpret it, because it doesn't need to win against a Darkseer, right? All you have to really do in this matchup is trade farm, because as a Nyx Assassin with limited farm, you're going to do more than the Darkseer is.
Yeah.
Like, with the amount of levels that you're going to get out of this. So once you hit level 6, once you hit level 7, Misery can start to rotate to the mid lane. He can go to the off lane himself. Then you'll see Jackie kind of come to this top lane and help out, and
yeah, and this Nyx Assassin works a lot earlier too. Like, you're talking about level 6, level 7. With the old Nyx Assassin, maybe you'd wait until you hit like level 11 and you had a longer duration in Vendetta. With the recent rework to that, the Nyx does have a little bit more of an extended duration on this Vendetta early on. So he can leave a little bit earlier on and then give that space, as you were saying, to Ember Spirit to move to the safe lane, find that big farm, get the Battle Fury, go to town.
We should discuss, though, we learned how to say all the Newbee Young player names.
We
thanks
did.
to Helen.
We did. I can no longer call him Emoji. It's kind of a sad thing.
SCMR, Jat, Lee, and LE.
Yes.
So just pronounce it by the first 2 letters in their name, apparently. They are very specific about that.
That is what they prefer.
Yeah, but this aggro tri-lane, it's not even really meant to be an aggro tri-lane. It's meant to just keep the heroes here so that Misery gets a one-on-one, so that Weeha gets a one-on-one against the Alch. And the Shadow Fiend should do okay in this matchup. The Alchemist, of course, trades farm with pretty much everybody, and as long as he doesn't get double raised in this lane, should be okay.
Is it really great, though, to have this many supports set on bottom lane? Should you not be looking for Weeha to have some stacks being prepared for him? Because we're now 2 minutes into the game, and there's no stack sitting inside the Dire Jungle.
It's not as big of a deal because you're a Shadow Fiend, and usually what ends up happening is you get dual laned yourself, and you need the recovery stacks, but in a situation like this, I don't think it's as crucial for him to just sit there and get stacks. And Ellie's going to pick up the rune.
Yeah, nice little steal onto Pylai Die, because they got the observer board watching the rotation of Secret down. Should also note too that maybe they thought it was a blind decay coming out from Pylai Die, but before that fight started on the top river, there was a Dire observer board that was planted down by Team Secret. It watched all of the movements of Newbee Y. And now you got another observer board being placed down by the Radiant side on exactly the same position. So Secret understand where Newbee Y have vision now with both of the early observer boards.
This is the strength of that Pylai Die Undying. He's just going to force both the supports to be here. And you want to give your Shadow Fiend in this type of situation a straight up 1v1, because he'll be okay. Like, he can even have some kill potential. And the main reason is when you're playing a melee hero, oftentimes you'll be in range for the first raise. And oftentimes what will end up happening is then you get hit by the second one, and then the third one is pretty much just a formality at that point. And triple raise at level 3 even is usually enough to kill anybody one-on-one. So that's something that the Alchemist has to kind of pay attention to and worry about at all times.
Bottom lane, the charge is coming in right now from Ellie. He won't actually reach Pylai Die, realizing he's going to come in way too far. And even then, you're up against Nightmare, Brain Sap, Searing Chains, Flame Guard, Decay, Soul Rip. Like, there's a lot of burst damage.
Are you just
and a lot
listing
of control.
abilities? I feel like it kind of loses its luster at that point.
It kind of does, but every single one of them is either control or a nuke coming out from this lane. So with all of that put together, you'd burn through the 777 life of Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, something that does worry me is how much more Eternal Envy is farming compared to SC.
Is Ellie? Okay, Ellie's actually running in here to Weeha. If he gets some lucky bashes here, he might be able to at least
Toby, this is real life. You
Weeha,
don't just get
but
bashes.
No, it's not going to happen. The 3 raises connect on the Spirit Breaker. And Weeha, well, at least they bring Pylai Die into the mid lane, and Ellie will be able to escape.
Yeah, he should be okay. He's actually going to let the Alchemist try to get the rune. And...
It's going to get denied by Weeha. Oh, actually, no.
No,
He didn't get the attack in time.
He was too fast. The attack speed isn't that quick. That'd be pretty unbelievable, but he does have Eternal Envy's bottle, and I think he's just going to send it the other way. They actually have 3 bottles on their team so far. Not too surprising, considering it is a Nyx Assassin and an Ember Spirit. It's not even about the runes for these types of heroes. It's you want to keep up in regen against the Darkseer when he's got the Soul Ring, just to be able to have enough HP to spam out. But this is around the time that Team Secret, you're going to get level 6 on Misery pretty soon, and hope that he's able to be your space creator now.
They're actually changing it up. He's going back to base at the moment, and they left Poppy a long way down the bottom lane. He's also going to retreat out at the moment. SCC. I was actually looking up his Queen of Pain builds before. He really likes to favor this. I thought it was just going to be because he's like more of that mid laner kind of style, but he's going for the second point up in Shadow Strike. Trying to find a harassment in a lane up against heroes who have Brain Sap as well as Soul Rip.
Yeah, this is a really hard lane to trade against. With Pylai Die having the decay up at all times too. And you're seeing a bunch of heroes mid right now. I think this is where you start to swap around, and you're seeing Eternal Envy already start moving to that
They
top
see
lane.
it. The Observable scouts out his movement.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't meant to 100% kill or anything like that. It's just meant to go for the standard lane swap, and if he sees the opportunity. But none of this is too big of a surprise if you've been paying attention to Secret for the last month.
Yeah. It's a simple rotation. But this at least gives the space to Queen of Pain, and I kind of want to ask you now, where do you go with the Queen of Pain? You understand the lineup you're against. Do you try and get the Orchid against the Ember Spirit? Is there a better build to go for this Queen of Pain?
I think the Orchid's fine against heroes like the Nyx Assassin too. I think that SC, the one downside is SC hasn't had the time to farm. Like, he was pretty heavily contested in this lane. So if you're going to go for the Orchid, you have to kind of anticipate that it's going to be a lot later than expected, and this should give Eternal Envy time to even switch up his build or get the Manta in time, which is the usual response to the Queen of Pain.
Fresh ults being placed in mid lane, so they'll understand where Newbee Y are moving. At the same time, there's that heavy amount of stacking prepared by Secret, so they're ready to switch out Weeha from that mid lane so he can go and flash farm inside the jungle. This will allow Puppy, if he's the man that's chosen, to get very close to level 6. Speaking of that, Misery's got his and he's down on bottom lane. So they're going to try and find the kill with the help of Pylai Die.
They should know about this rotation though, Newbee Young, because this is around when Misery starts to do something like this, and their mid hero isn't as easily gankable just because you don't want him to just put his Chemical Rage and survive through the gank, but it's going to be an unsuccessful gank as he's got about 10 seconds left. He's playing around the Sentry Ward if you notice, as SC, he should spot this rotation coming.
Yeah,
First decay is going to tip him off, and maybe they even have some turnaround potential here.
Yeah, with the Hex, the stuns, and the strike, Misery, he's going to get soul ripped up when the Tombstone's being committed, but Newbee were already holding back a very long way, so it's an unsuccessful gank. And not the greatest time to rotate out.
And this is what we were talking about, though. You have this kind of info to study against a team like Team Secret, where you know that this is what they like to do. Misery's going to play the hero that eventually rotates. When you play the Slardar, he often goes to the mid lane or tries to get an easy setup. And when you play the Nyx Assassin, that's even more so the case. Especially when he's got the bottle that early on. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out for him, and Newbee Young, they were 100% prepared. They bought the sentries at the exact same timing that they needed to when he decides to go for the gank, and makes it really difficult for Misery to open up the map. And
I'm wondering too if Misery can get that kill on the Queen of Pain. Because is the stun time enough? You gotta get through 850, and then you've got 11 one charges up the sleeve for SC. So you can regenerate.
If you're able to get the decay off, I think, and the soul rip, you have enough to burst.
Okay.
But you would have to just do everything at once. And Misery's got a DD rune. He's headed towards mid, and you notice when they're playing this passive style, like Newbee Young isn't going for kills on their own. They're making sure that they're putting up sentries everywhere, that they're stacking their own camps. They've got a fairly decent stack for Jia to go for.
It looks like Secret are changing the lanes again. So Weeha moves up to the top lane. He had a haste rune available, but Ember Spirit is still farming here, so Eternal Envy, this map's getting a little crowded. The courier kill for Misery, he's not going to find it, not through the trees. And this Vendetta now wears out.
Oh, they actually know that he's in the jungle right now. They could isolate him. The charge is coming in now too on Misery, and
they can keep him inside that acid spray with the stun. And yeah, as you said, Ellie arrives at the perfect time. The Spike Carapace won't save him. It's just value bash.
And this is just really smart, dedicated play by Newbee Young. They are reading the situation correctly. They know that the rotations are coming around. Misery's not playing the type of hero that you're going to just see him passive farm. He wants to try to get active and create space for those two greedy cores at the top. And so he's roaming around the map looking for opportunities, but if you notice Newbee Young, what they're doing really well right now is the game style is a little bit passive for them because they can't really go for the same things. So they're making sure to stack up camps. They're making sure to find these opportunities to go on Misery.
And, well, when you're able to get a counter kill against him, it's almost feeling like Secret's getting a little bit like clustered. They're not quite certain where they can find their farm. Weeha's not hitting an early timing. And speaking of timing, it's a 9.5 minute relic arriving for this Alchemist. Like when you don't get the first bounty rune, you don't get that big bonus, and you're still able to catch up. Just shows the power of this hero, Misery. That again, Sentry Wall from MR at the perfect time, but the raids is from Weeha. Not enough to find the kill, and Misery can't reach him.
Yeah, once again, they're going to deny Misery, and
at the same time, is Envy dead up here? The Chase is coming in from the Darkseer. He has the wall down. He won't get the kill, and there's movement coming in from Puppey. Darkseer just wants to get the hell out of here, but he's already used the Surge, and there's another rotation also on the way. It's Misery coming. The Nightmare's going to hold for so long that Misery will be able to get this done. There's no TP support arriving from Newbee. Why? But then the Surge running up and away.
I think even if he hits that stun, though, without the Vendetta available to him, and Brain Tap was on cool, he doesn't have the mana, and it was on cooldown, actually. So they didn't have the damage to quite do that, but time and time again, Team Secret, they're being denied. I just want to take a look at the Vision game so far.
Newbee die. Charge. Okay, Nether Strike not even required. SC just lets rip with that ulti. Misery comes in, just throws out a hopeful stun. Doesn't do anything at the end of the day. So you get a pick up on the Undying. Misery has now died 2 times in this game. And your Radiance is fully up by 11 minutes for this Alchemist. It's coming out in the courier now.
If we take a look at the Vision game too, you notice that all Team Secret have right now is that top ward up. They've done such a dedicated job of dewarding. They were able to get the one mid. Jackie's even going to get spotted here as...
He better have a defensive spirit at the moment as EE.
Nah, he's okay.
Oh, the charge is coming. He's actually jumping towards SC. Yeah, without the Sonic Wave, I suppose he's got a lot more confidence to stand on this lane.
And something I do want to point out is, I think I talked about it in our previous cast, is how much the Radiant Ward Vision matters when it comes to the jungle. That's the opening for everything. That determines your safe lane, your mid lane.
Weeha? A lot of control, starting with the Nether Strike. The Finger of Death's going to be there too. They need another bash to make this work, and now Ellie realizes it's just not enough to give. The double stun, however, from MR, able to reach Envy. He's going up for the kill, able to bring down the Spirit Breaker. So they do get something as SB getting very aggressive, but Weeha's on almost no life, even after the one charges.
He's going to get chased down by the Radiance.
Almost.
Oh, he gets wrong, but he's just going to go for the rune.
Top lane, now they go on the Darkseer. Middle Surge, he's going to throw out that wall. Support is TPing in. The Fiend Script holding Darkseer here. And SC, well, he may not have the ulti, but he's already looking to go in. Initiating onto Eternal Envy. The physical damage will be enough. One more attack. Misses him around the tree line. Eternal Envy trying to juke left and right. The Iron Shell's arriving too. He had time to get the magic wand off, but it's a blink in 3 seconds time with the Scream. SC wants to walk for it. They'll send in the Darkseer illusion anyway. And there's your blink. Can't get the Scream. Oh, he's getting up with the Spirit. Nessie can't finish the job. Eternal Envy will be able to survive The tower giving the extra damage, and Weeha bringing in the support DPS.
He just got completely styled on right there. Really well played by Envy. All he needed was one right click. He had 53 HP, or 43 I think. One should have been enough for that, but Jackie playing around that tree line area so smart. Unable to get the kill, and
they're so big as well. Like, Eternal Envy wasn't looking at the greatest position of his life. He's now sitting at 4.8k in the net worth, 1600 overall. He needed that space. He needed to survive through this, not to be pushed even further back, or else the Darkseer would be threatening him for net worth position. And you can't really have that when you already have an Alchemist cracking 10k net worth in 13 minutes. Like, it's just Alchemist things. But he's got BTs, Radiance, and 1400 gold over on Jar Jar.
Sometimes, Toby, in, for example, basketball, you'll see somebody like dunk on somebody and it just hypes up your teammates and it sort of demoralizes the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those plays, because Eternal Envy's got to be super happy about how that ended up. And Newbee Young, they were on pretty good pace. If they could have gotten Eternal Envy and gone down with their Queen of Pain, that would have been great. But
they're gonna try it again. Like, this is SCC trying to go on Pilot Eye. Can miss the Sonic Wave, blinks forward, so they're going to get off the Undying. But Misery and Puppy are here. Nightmare's one, Fiend's grips the other, so Spirit Breaker's controlled. Falls up for the double stun, and now Eternal Envy will arrive for the follow-up stuns, but it won't matter. Not when Weeha arrives with the raised damage. Envy, he can't go again yet. The Searing Chain's still on cooldown.
The Darkseer's got the angle too. He's
here.
here.
Back. The Spike Carapace makes it a little bit more difficult, but now the Alchemist will arrive, and with the Radiance Burn, they're going to go through him. There's no defensive clearance. They're just going to fight through everything. Weeha blows the ulti out with the follow-up raise. Is there enough damage? He will! Weeha will take the double kill from inside the wall. And they retreat back out again. Secret actually bought back on their Nyx Assassin to try and take this. This is why Newbee White's trying to get out of here, but Puppy, the Nightmare, it's going to catch out the Darkseer for the moment. He's already bought the mech, so he won't lose any extra money from this, but he still gives his life over to Puppy and probably that tier 1 tower as well.
What a setup right there. If Weeha doesn't launch that right around the corner, there's no way that the Alchemist dies there. He can just reset the fight. Let his natural regen do the job. You saw how close Weeha was to death in that fight after the wall lands. What a turnaround by Team Secret. For a second there, it just looked like it was going to be all Newbee Young as the Alchemist comes charging in. This is when he's going to be near the strongest. He's got a Radiance. He's got a point booster for HP.
Ellie? Is he really going to finish this? The Spike Carapace triggers from Misery. The support's a little bit too far away. Misery looking for the stun, but Ellie is on the wrong side of the river. The stun again's going to miss here from Misery, and a straight TP out. The damage, however, with SF there for the double raises, kills off the over-aggressive Spirit Breaker.
WeGod is playing so well right now. That first ult setup, all of the raises so far that he's hit, he's 4-0-4. It's not every day that you see this build. I do want to highlight the Shadow Blade. He's been doing it quite a bit. He did it at Nanyang, and typically when you think of this item, you think of it as a 2,800 gold item that just allows you to walk through wards, but it just forces so many different looks for Team Secret. Is you have to constantly worry about sentries. His positioning game is always going to be on point, and this allows him to scale a little bit better when it comes to just flat out damage.
You asked the question, or at least the panel asked the question about the Alchemist buying up an Aghanim Scepter for somebody. Until I see this band of Elvskin, I was actually considering.
No, you're gonna go.
That might have been it, but he is just gonna go in for the Asha Manta and Octarine later.
Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be the casual point booster for the HP, the flat HP for that one fight, I think, and I think that's a fine idea.
Bottom lane, that charge not gonna work. In fact, it's up to the top lane. It's troublesome because Secret smoked themselves up here. Newbee White dodges from heaven. There's the Sonic Wave. He'll connect on 3, and maybe with the scream damage, it's not gonna be enough. The control's too good from Team Secret. They just easily go through the Queen of Pain, as well as the Alchemist.
I don't think that Sonic Wave hit Eternal Envy either.
It hit 3. It hit 3 of the Secret players. But yeah, it didn't actually hit Eternal Envy.
So well done in mid. Weeha's charging it up, but I don't actually think he goes for it. And with this Aegis, he feels so confident. But being able to dodge the stun, buy enough time for your team to come in. Newbee Young getting a little bit over-aggressive just for Eternal Envy. I don't actually know if they have the potential to kill him if he has a Remnant up. You see the Queen of Pain, she's got the Bracer, she's going to build up into the Orchid, but you have to wonder, by the time you get that Orchid, is it going to be way too late?
And the fact that she keeps dying as well, so it keeps getting delayed time and time again. Way too late may be exactly that.
Weeha's going to go for S and Y possibly, or you can just split up for the later game and eventually split that into Manta and the other side of things. go Manta, and
Oh,
you can stop the bash with just the upgrade.
You're thinking about the Silver Edge and what it can do.
Yeah. I almost never see that item competitively.
Well, it's only really worth it if you stop some kind of critical passive.
Bash is a pretty...
Bash is pretty up there. I won't disagree with you on that.
It's top tier.
And it's the thing that wins a lot of games.
Yeah. Newbee Young were playing so disciplined, but seems like they've fallen apart a little bit. They're going to go for the smoke to try to recover things, but you have to be successful with this gank. Puppy's going to tank it for his team.
Puppy's actually in the perfect position for it. They triggered
it.
Dusk because they thought the Nyx Assassin was here with a Finger of Death and the stuns. Well, will he die? They go straight with the Nether Strike with a back control as well. They ensure the kill. There's ton from Misery with a Spike Carapace, really causing problems. So the Lion dies quickly, and the Spirit Breaker able to TP out in time. Weeha arriving. They'll end up just dewarding because that sentry was already down. But they do force the rotation while the Alchemist continues to farm.
That's the scary thing, though, about ganking into the Dire jungle. It's just so open. It's easy to pincer, and it's difficult to get out. Oftentimes, you'll see when you get a kill in that area, you just immediately have to get out. And Misery, he's going to set up for this and pops the Spike Carapace in the invis. This should be a free kill as the Alc doesn't have his ultimate running anymore. And Eternal Envy now up to 2100 gold, playing this game so well. And Misery's finally starting to get online with those ganks.
That he is. Finding the opportunities, finding the good line stuns. They're missing before. But it's also because Newbee were the ones that were being the real aggressors. They would come in with the Spirit Breaker, you charge, you'd Nether Strike, the Sonic Wave and Scream would both hit, and you'd find the kill before the fight would even begin. And then Secret just bails out, realizing it's not worth the fight.
Yeah, Secret can afford to play passively right now because their two cores, the Ember Spirit and the Shadow Fiend, are getting so farmed that they're allowing Newbee Young to get a little bit antsy, to get a little bit over-aggressive, and they're going for these excursions into the enemy jungle, and it's a little bit demoralizing. Like, you're the team that smokes up, you only manage to kill Puppy using the Finger of Death and the Spirit Breaker ultimate, and you have to trade one of your supports for it too, and Weeha's just going to take a free tower now, and it is going to be the SNY build, but later on you can split it up into the Silver Edge and the Manta style.
Man, I'd love to have a stat to see how many wards have been purchased during this game. They've been burning through Sentry so much. The Vision game is now down to Secret only having one Observer ward looking over their own jungle. They had one aggressively, but it got dewarded out by Newbee Y. And they've got this perimeter of wards protecting their jungle, protecting the areas where the Alchemist can farm.
And that's what you have to do as the Radiant side. You have to protect your jungle. This is what's going to allow you to kind of stay into the game, is your Alchemist just being able to farm these out. The problem is, once you lose control of your jungle on the Radiant side, what ends up happening is the enemy team just farms out 4 different lanes. So even if you go for 1 or 2 pickoffs, they're naturally just going to raise in GPM over you. So it's really important that Newbee Young, no matter what happens, keep control of your Radiant jungle. If you lose a few heroes for it, you're probably lost the game anyways at that point, if you're losing that hard anyways. So they're making sure that if there's wards and they're defensive, it's going to be into the jungle. Unfortunately for them, there's still a tier 1 tower at bottom for Team Secret, so the rotation game is quite easy. You notice that Eternal Envy, he's abusing that. He just keeps TPing down here. And Misery's been doing the same thing so far. And with the Blink Dagger, just those 2 heroes should be able to kill most of the heroes in the game.
Yeah. It was such a great initiation, but I'm still seeing the Alchemist getting bigger and bigger. Still 4,000 net worth in front of that Shadow Fiend.
The thing is, though, that's what the Alchemist does.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds scary, but if you think about it, it's an Alch. The rest of the heroes from Newbee Young, they're not nearly as farmed as they have to be. If the Queen of Pain still doesn't have the Orchid at 21 minutes, and this is meant to be your first major item. And if you're a safe laner, typical wait time for it is about 15-16 minutes. 21-22 minutes without even having it. Still 500 gold away.
I suppose the main thing I was pointing out for the Alchemist is the fact that you, like, in a way, like right now they're using him as bait, but he makes space so you can gank up as 4 heroes and not have to worry about your side lanes being pushed so hard that you just are pressured to go for these kills. They miss Pilot Eye, TP's out just in the nick of time.
Oh no.
And they trigger Dust thinking that the next assassin's around here, but yeah, they don't find what they're looking for. And this Dire Observer ward from Secret, like, it sees all now. They understand they can force this bottom lane out. Misery's sitting just outside of range of the tier 2 tower. So if Newbee Y don't properly commit to defend this bottom tower, then they're just going to end up losing whoever TP's down.
That was just really done when it comes to game sense. You know that when it comes to objectives, what can they really do? The only one showing themselves on the map is Eternal Envy at top, and they're far enough ahead right now that they know that Newbee Young is going to get a little bit antsy, force themselves to smoke, so Eternal Envy just rotates to the other side of the map, and this looks a little bit scarier, right? Because you're pushing down to tier 2, but
Spirit Breaker TP'd into the tier 3 tower. They want to try and initiate. They look for the Concoction Sun over on Eternal Envy. It will still land, but Highlight Die able to get that soul rip off. It's not enough. They get through the Tombstone with a sleight of fist damage. Also not doing enough after that mech will arrive from the Darkseer. So they bring down the Undying, but your tier 2 tower is lost in mid. You don't take out the tier 2 tower on top, and your bottom tier 2 tower takes considerable damage.
Once again, the Alchemist keeps challenging Eternal Envy with that stun, but Eternal Envy has been dodging it every single time with a sleight of fist. And that just makes it so easy for him to open up. The Queen of Pain, though, she does have the Orchid. This is the one item in the game that can really help things along because Eternal Envy doesn't have the Manta, he doesn't have a BKB. So you might see some opportunities. The problem is it's so easy for her to die.
They're looking for it. They start with the charge, the Spirit back out. Weeha's already waiting here. The stun will connect over on Misery. In fact, the double stun from MMR is going to be enough as Weeha, well, he's coming back to help out his teammates. The Spirit Breaker's in a little bit too deep. And they're going to call it off. A 1-for-1 trade, Spirit Breaker for that Nyx Assassin, and MR stun, helping them to get that.
In the heat of the moment, did you say MMR?
Yes!
I was like... My bad, I'm just an ass. I shouldn't have brought that up. I love you, Toby.
Thanks, Blitz. Everyone loves your ass.
I've gotta bring it up, otherwise the Twitch chat bullies will make fun of you.
It's gonna happen anyway, bro.
They're real mean, man.
You just accept the fact, you move on, and you enjoy life.
Alright, so this Alchemist, he's just farming up some more stacks. He is holding steady at 4k ahead. Weeha's gonna get this bounty rune. Just deny him, and he's gonna pop the Manta because he knows that there's somebody there, thinking that it's Misery. Weeha's gonna go for the stack. He's nearly got the BKB completed, and I think Team Secret's timing window here is to go for the Roshan. The Ember Spirit isn't the best high ground hero, so your Shadow Fiend, who's naturally not very tanky when it comes to just health, 1600 only, you want the Aegis on him if possible to make sure that if he does get initiated on, he doesn't just immediately get bursted.
Yeah. Which means he can come back to life and use that BKB he's just completed.
It's not like they have a mech or anything like that. So you want to make sure that...
They got something better. They got Soul Rip from Undying.
It's really better though.
Not really. Mech is still the most unique item in the world, but if you're trying to keep SF alive, it's a very powerful thing to do so. They've also got the Glimmer Cape from Poppy already up. The Undying looks like Pilot Eye. It could just be a casual cloak, but you could build into it as well. Might be... Newbee Y can't really carry a gem, can they? They've always got to rely on dust or sentries. It's too easy to lose the gem in the fights. Like what, you want to give it to the Alchemist? Alch is actually... Okay, what do we got? Okay, yeah, Mystic Staff as well as the Vip Booster, yeah.
He's just 800 gold away now from the full Octarine Core. And then the game kind of complicates, and I think Team Secret, they want to try to get aggressive.
Charge on top, gonna go right now on EE. They got that Orchid to go. Does have enough damage with the charge back to the Sonic Wave, and Eternal Envy, he does die. The Alchemist arrives just in the nick of time to get that concoction stun. No dodging that time around, and 1 minute on the sidelines for Envy, even though he does have buyback.
Yeah, he preloads the stun to guarantee that as soon as he gets up there, worst comes to worst, he starts running at Eternal Envy so he can get it at the same time.
This Darkseer's got to get out of here.
Yeah,
the surge, the stun, he doesn't have enough. Actually, he's still got half the duration, but Pumpy just commits the Fiend's Grip. Allows Weeha to come in for the raise kill. So a 1-for-1 trade-off, but it's Envy for a Darkseer.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about. As soon as the Queen of Pain got the Orchid, this is her opportunity to finally start opening up the map a little bit. Unfortunately for Newbee, I think the play from Team Secret is don't show Eternal Envy anymore like that. Just go for the Roshan, start to play the 5-man, have him sit back, just repeatedly use the Sleight of Fist. But speaking of pushing, now the Alchemist has the Octarine Core and the Manta, and with the Acid Cloud, it's not going to be very easy for Team Secret to just go for the high ground.
It's kind of the thing about the Alchemist. He can delay these games so much, be it through split push or be it through that high ground defense. And you've got Sonic Wave. Like, I'm not going to say it's the Aghanim's upgrade for the Queen of Pain. In fact, I'm wondering if SC is just thinking BKB is the choice to go here as opposed to the Aghanims.
You have to when you're playing against the Ember Spirit and the Nyx Assassin as a Queen of Pain. We saw that at TI, all throughout TI, when you would pick the Ember to counter heroes like the Queen of Pain or the Anti-Mage early game, because the Sleight of Fist Searing Chains is so strong against those heroes.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of HP that Queen of Pain has and how weak she is, she's only at 5 armor right now, versus how much damage she can potentially put out with her ultimate, with multiple Scream of Pains. You want to be able to kill her as fast as you can.
Does it still bring up the question then, is it worthwhile Alchemist giving his upgrade over to the other heroes like a Queen of Pain, understanding that you've got to have 2 stronger cores during the fight, and sacrifice was probably going to be, what, an Assault Cuirass for the Alchemist?
If you look at the rest of the team on Newbee Young, there
Alchemist
are a lot
is
of
dead.
good opportunities.
The upside is he gets the Chemical Rage off, the jump forward stun's over on Weeha, they've actually got that Sentry Ward down, that's the reason why he knows, but the damage output is just so high from Secret that the Alchemist just cannot survive.
Yeah, and this might be their opportunity to open things up. The
They're going
Alchemist
to
is
TP
dead.
down. There's a lot of TPs coming this bottom lane. Ellie's already getting out of here. Misery, that stun SC. He gets hit by it. The blink's off cooldown in 1 second time, but he's dead before that countdown ends. So Alchemist and Quap getting picked once again. A good smoke movement from Secret.
They have their own catapult right now. I think that Secret can decide to just kind of force this out a little bit with both cores dead. And if you look at the rest of their lineup, they don't have the best way to wave clear. Like, the only way for them to wave clear Toby reliably is the not the Spirit Breaker, the Alchemist, right? With the Acid Cloud and the Manta. Because you don't want to just expend the Queen of Pain.
Ooh, I like this.
Her Sonic Wave isn't enough.
Can they get the Hex? They throw the Observer Ward down. Understand that Envy went into the tree line, so they search forward on the dark seer, but he actually gets the wrong part of the tree line. So with Spirit down, he goes in deeper. The BTs are off cooldown, but the Hex will be available. So it looks like Eternal Envy's going to drop here on the top lane. The bottom lane's being attacked, but no, he's going to Spirit away. The Spirit Breaker, he does actually hit on the Nether Strike, pushing back Eternal Envy with the Form Stones. They'll take it, but meanwhile, back in the base, the tier 3 tower is being torn apart by this SF. The Alchemist is alive, so you trade your Ember for a tier 3 tower on bottom. The charge is coming to Misery, but this will have to be cancelled, or else you're just going to have a very dead Mad Cow.
And the idea right there is for Eternal Envy to create space for his team, but the ultimate plan is definitely not to die there. Like, you're meant to be able to get out, but unfortunately for him, 3 heroes were set up at top, and he just wasn't ready for it. The idea was good, though. Like, split up the map a little bit, force them to kind of either decide to go for that top area, and if you don't, then Eternal Envy, it costs him nothing to just head to that bottom lane, right? You just boot to travel in. I know people are gonna flame him for that death, but
It's the Envy classic, man. Like, Envy was always that big believer. It's like, you know, if I got money, if I can buy it back, if I can come straight back into the fight, I'm always gonna do it. Because we just use economy to win the game. We use economy to get objectives. What's money?
Yeah, so MR is about to complete the Blink Dagger. That's a significant pickup for them. They needed something else to be able to initiate. If you look at the rest of their team, it can't just be the Spirit Breaker slowly charging in anymore. The Darkseer doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He's got the BKB to guarantee that he can get his initiation off, which I agree with. But it does mean that you lack reliable disables or a reliable way to jump in. And you want something to be able to follow through. You don't want your Queen of Pain who is BKB less to be the first one in, and at top,
yeah, she might be less of a little bit more
Puppy's
gold.
just gonna glimmer in.
Try and dodge Misery. Gonna get Orchid. Is Sonic Wave worth the committal here? Well, it is, until Puppy gets the Fiend's Grip off SC. Down for the count.
That was so well done too. You notice that Puppy, as I mentioned, he glimmer capes in so that it looks like Misery's just gonna be a free kill. And if Puppy's not there, that is a free kill. Guaranteed for the Queen of Pain, because she was able to get the Orchid off before he gets the stun. Yeah. So that should have been a free kill. Looks like a good opportunity, but it's a proper way to bait.
Well, at least the Alchemist will get something back in the middle. Willie, they initiate forward with the Spire Carapace. Alchemist gets stunned up, but he has himself an Invis Rune. So the burn is still there on Misery, but he's not going to stick around and try his luck. Just wants to get the hell out of there. And just send more illusions to keep the pressure going. The tier 2 tower will get denied up in the mid. That tier 1 is still on bottom lane. We're 32 minutes in. And Newbee Y still haven't taken out this tier 1 tower. It's like Secret own the Roche pit while that is up.
This is what you want to do, just establish tempo on the map. Don't let somebody just split push you. If you notice that every single time that Team Newbee decides to go for map control, like they decide to try to take over the jungle on the upper side, Team Secret are always there to rotate in. There's no such thing as a free lane with these guys.
Yeah. Misery's coming forward. There's no sentry wards down, so they're going to find MR. He throws the observer ward down, sees Weeha moving over, but the stuns. And then that last attack from Weeha, not missing up the hill.
That's a 50-second death now. Timer on the line. Who has a blink dagger?
There's also the reveal of the blink dagger too.
Yeah,
I don't know if he showed that before, but
it's not really an insignificant pickoff whatsoever. I think this is going to prompt Team Secret to just avoid the Alk. Don't even bother going to that mid area. The Manta's on cooldown now too, and you're going to see the Assault come in because there's no Acid Cloud, there's no Manta.
Oh, look at him move forward. They want to get that Darkseer concoction out with BKB. It's a good back wall, but with that BKB up, maybe with a charge
that
forward,
Sonic Wave.
it pushes the back so far with the damage from the Sonic Wave. Weeha still wants to get the Requiem off. Now he will. The Spirit Breaker will evaporate, and Puppey, he's locked down the Alchemist. Will it be for long enough though? That concoction, it needs to pop off. He'll self-stun himself, allowing Weeha to get the double kill. Now they move to the Queen of Pain, and this could really be it. Secret can at least take 2 Raxes because Newbee White, they don't have an Alchemist, they don't have a Quap, they don't have a Spirit Breaker, and really, they don't have the ability to repel Secret. And if they lose more like MR right now, he gets the double stun, he's got a Finger of Death, which could kill a Pylai Die, who's actually dying right out of Darkseer illusions. They Glimmer Cape him up to get himself out to safety. And now the Finger pops Bane. Some revenge for what was done to the Alchemist. And in fact, Secret, they're leaving. They need the creep wave, you're right. They can't take Rax.
They went so aggressive there, and something I do want to highlight is Puppey's positioning. He was actually on the high ground, waiting for the Alchemist, making sure that there were no stuns. Ever so patient with that, and Weeha lets loose with the ultimate. Second time I've seen it all game, and boy did it pay off for them. And with the MKB now too, the Radiant's not nearly going to do enough, and his damage output is actually absurd.
It almost looked like Weeha wasn't going to get it off for a while. Like Ellie was in there, he was trying his damnedest to get that 17% hit, and it didn't exist for him.
You've got to commit at that point.
You do.
Weeha's going to buy a gem for his team, and
you also have the gem on the Alchemist.
Yeah.
They've had enough. They need to keep that vision on Team Secret. Get rid of any kind of aggressive observers, because, okay, maybe that's what we have to look at next. Secret, they can keep running directly at Newbee Y, but is this the play? Like, is the play better to try and get the pickoffs? Use the Nyx Assassin?
No, you don't have to. You can go for the high ground. You just need the Aegis right there. And if they had the creep wave, that was a reasonable attempt at Rax. I don't disagree with anything that just happened in that sequence. There's no buyback, because you know that Newbee Young are far enough behind that they have to constantly just buy out items. And if you look at the gold graph, like, it doesn't look that bad, 7,500, but you have to understand that's almost entirely concentrated on your Alchemist.
Yep.
So it's incredibly deceptive.
They're coming up for a gank. There's one Dire Observer Ward. They're going to sentry down, so they understand that the sentry is there. The smoke breaks in 1 second time. Now, there's a lot of pings coming out from the Queen of Pain, but they're hiding perfectly. And they're actually just going to de-ward this out. Okay, so they reveal their position by doing that. And maybe it wasn't essential, but Weeha was waiting for him too. Hiding in the tree line, realizing that all of Newbee Y are missing. It's only Eternal Envy who's in a bit of a rough position. But look at his build. Like, there's not a heavy amount of damage. He goes BKB with that Battle Fury. The damage will come later.
He doesn't really need it. The Shadow Fiend is so stacked on damage. He's got a 9-second BKB. So he doesn't have to worry about being the first one in there, the Ember. And with an MKB and a Shadow Blade, he's got enough HP, he's got enough damage. It's really not something they lack. He just needs to be able to get off 1 or 2 slights, and that should be enough. You just don't want to get initiated on by MR. The cool thing too about just going for the BKB here is, imagine if MR goes in, blinks in as a lion with 910 HP, and Eternal Envy gets the BKB off first.
Yeah,
that's 100% guaranteed deadline.
Radiant's top tower is under
But if he doesn't, then Newbee Y get the initiation they're really searching for. So that's a lot of pressure to put on MR's shoulders. So they try and get the vision advantage. They put it onto the Queen of Pain. So the gem's been transferred from the Alchemist. SC is going to be the guy on the front lines at all times. And the Alchemist needs to keep farming. He can BT into the fight later on, but okay, they find Weeha. The charge is coming, but there is all of Secret behind him. They charge forward with a Sonic Wave. They're going to get the kill over on the SF. And maybe, well, Spider Fist, does Newbie really? Yep, they're going to go further. The back wall, catching out 3. They want to get more Ember Spirit able to spirit himself away. Both Glimmer Cases being used already, and they want more. The charge forward will be there. Ellie, he's riding the back of Puppey. Puppey still got Feature Prefer, but the double stun from Misery is keeping SC out of this fight. And now, Jackie, there's your BKB to trigger. And with Weeha back in the fight, the damage has return, and Team Secret, they'll claim 2 lives. They're looking for a third. Over towards the Darkseer. In fact, Alchemist just buys back into the game. He's coming to defend the bottom lane. It looks like Darkseer as well as Lion will be able to get out to safety.
The next objective now for Team Secret, secure the Roshan at all costs.
It's
Weehaw
up
can
in
just drop
15.
his Helm of the Dom, grab it himself, and Eternal Envy is going to start putting some pressure on top. And the point of this is just to force some heroes here, and then just immediately spear it out. Like, once he gets visual confirmation of some heroes, then he knows for sure. And now they're going to know that the Roshan is up. The cheese is available for this one too. And with an Aegis completed, I don't know if it's possible for them to kill Weehaw anymore. He'll always get the BKB off, whether it's through the revive or the initial burst.
And there's no way Newbee Y can contest this. They blew everything they had on that fight in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah,
There's no Sonic Wave. They have to wait another 55 seconds, but they're not going to. They smoke up now, but the horrible truth gets globally announced. The fact that Roshan is down, and they've got a choice. They've got to smoke. Do they try and find a pickoff? And where can they find a pickoff?
Honestly, it's really difficult because every single time you've gone for a pickoff, the fights have just not gone your way. It can't be on the Shadow Fiend anymore because it'll take you a little bit too long. And at top, SC, he's going to push in the lane as fast as he can because I think he realizes there's no opportunity anymore. Like, Team Secret are just going to go down the mid lane. They don't care about your split push.
He also needed the money because that actually helps to finish his BKB. He needed that catapult at the end to finish up his BKB.
Yeah, that's one of those attempts where you hope somebody's going for the split push at top. If they can run into Jackie, maybe burst him down.
Yeah.
But you don't go for Weehaw anymore. It's a little bit too difficult.
And that rotation's coming in from Secret. Darkseer, well, he'll get out of his invis, but blinks away in time. Misery actually blinked after him underneath that tier 2 tower. The Secret don't have the creep wave, though. It's illusions of the Alchemist to push out the top enough. And now they just defend bottom lane.
This Nyx Assassin, he has the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. Not too worried about anything anymore. The Burrow ability, really nice when all you have to do is sit back, stun repeatedly at the ground. Your mana burn range is so high too.
Basically upgraded StarCraft 2. It's the Nyx Assassin Lurker.
How does Dota get a Lurker before StarCraft does? Unbelievable.
Just because we're special.
There is a Blink Dagger now, though, on the Darkseer. So their initiation game, they have a lot of follow-up. What they went for in the previous fight at their bottom racks is they were trying to do the vacuum wall into the Alchemist stun combo.
Yep.
And that is a way back into the game. But the problem is there's just so many BKBs on the side of Team Secret.
They see Ember Spirit in the mid, but the rest of Team Secret are smoked up, moving through the Radiant jungle like a wave, coming towards Newbee and Alchemist. He's got to get this Chemical Rage off right now, or else he may end up dying, and he's right behind him. The BKB doesn't trigger either, and this will be real trouble. Alchemist just evaporates. 1.5 minutes on the sideline. The rest of Newbee Y, they will be able to retreat from this, but as you said, there's no Alchemist, no BKB. He saw them as well. Must have been looking at a different angle, where he was going to farm next.
This bottom lane, exposed Rex, this mid lane, the creep wave is there. Secret are just going to push in with 4 here. All Jackie has to do is not die. Push out the wave one more time. Should be perfectly fine for this.
And Darkseer, Misery played that perfectly. He's actually able to spike Carapace onto the Iron Shell, but Weehaw up a long way. It's a double stun on Poppy as well as Pylite die, as Weehaw is basically killing himself through that wall. Still visible underneath that tower. But they just mess up. They want to come down for the bottom lane. Nice double stun from Misery. He's running out of mana as well as life, so Secret not doing it flawless, but it doesn't really matter. Misery just burrows himself down, and this bottom Rax is toast.
There are just too many mistakes from Newbee Young right there. They wasted the vacuum wall. The Lion goes in with the finger, misses the stun because of the BKB. They just had no opportunities right there. Without the vacuum wall combination either, I don't think you can defend this anymore if you're Newbee Young, and I think Secret are well aware of this. Even if the Alchemist comes back, you don't have without the vac wall, without the Finger of Death, I don't know if this is possible.
Can they get rid of Misery? He's just sitting here. Now you get a full Satanic as well for the SF. This will be delivered after the Aegis Immortal is gone. So Weeha is becoming more and more immortal. The Tombstone is going to wear off and the Alchemist is now back alive. So Secret, the decision is there. Do they want to back up and can they back up? They fight. The Darkseer surges away, almost dying. So low, in fact, Misery is there. The Manabo will find the kill. MR's being controlled by Puppy too. So there goes your line initiation to control. The Darkseer will buy back. It's a double concoction stun on E as well as Weeha. But there's just no follow-up. Despite Carapace makes it impossible for them to do so. And there it is. The Spirit Break gets destroyed. Maybe with this damage from the Alchemist, do they have enough? The Ember Spirit, he's able to get away in time.
What a dodge.
The Secret still aren't out of this yet. The Vac, the Illusions move forward. They're still getting Radiance burned down. But they're working through that melee racks. Weeha, the concoction, but it's already happened. The Tombstone's back up again. They take out the melee racks. Puppy moving forward. The Nightmares on the Alchemist. They'll break him free of it, however. That Chemical Rage got a little bit longer left on it. But the mid-ranks is gone, and Secret now just have to retreat back out without losing anything. Weeha takes a stun for the team. They have to get through the tier 2 tower in the top lane to ensure this game won.
They no longer really have the opportunity to lose another fight. Newbee Young, if they just lose 1 or 2 heroes anymore, the game is pretty much over. The one thing that you have going, I guess, is maybe you can push things out with the Alchemist and take a straight 5v5 and hope for the best. They haven't had another opportunity to go for that sick vacuum wall into Lion Spike combination. I guess that's the thing that you're going to play for.
Misery, Courier Hunter, that had most of the Assault Cuirass on it too.
Oh, right. That is...
That's so big, but they might lose Misery. You've got SEC right behind, triggers the BKB to ensure this, and, well, Gemsteel, yep. The Glimmer Cape as well, trying to get some space, and now the
he gets on the top!
The hillside! MR's up here as well, the BKB will come from Weeha. He'll try and ensure the kill on MR, which he will be able to claim, but the concoction's done.
Alright, you gotta win the fight here.
He's got the BTs available, but can they do this? He's coming in from the back end, so the Warrior was coming from behind. And Weeha still holding on to these BTs of his. They four-staff him down. Pilot Eye brings in that extra help. He only just bought that as well. So the rest of Newbee White, they want to retreat, but Envy just going in ham. He wants SC, 1 second till blink, and he'll be able to get away to safety. He won't find anyone else, but Weeha will. Catching out the Darkseer on the way out. The charge as well. LE gets himself out to safety.
That might have been one of their better opportunities to go for it. If they were able to isolate on the hill, but Eternal Envy buys enough time for the Undying to come through with that Force Staff. And again, Team Secret playing really well as a team. Newbee Young not able to capitalize on that. And with 1 set of racks left, you saw how difficult it was for them to bring down Weeha once. Now he's got the Satanic completed on him. You have to wonder if there's anything left in the tank.
You basically got to kill Weeha 3, maybe 4 times. Because there's the buyback BTs back down again. There's two times of Satanic. The BKB is at least down to 6 seconds in duration, so that's one upside. But that's a very small upside. He only needs 6 seconds worth of attacking with that Satanic to go back to full life. And now in comes Secret. They'll try and finish the job right now. MR needs a perfect initiation. He'll actually get stunned up. The Nightmare keeping him out of play, but then again, SF in the corner tries to get the attack off. Do they have enough? They haven't triggered the Satanic yet. Now he'll do so. There's the live, and there's the game. GG, Team Secret take game 1. 13-32, 32 being their advantage. And Newbee Y, they at least put up one hell of a fight. Their early game looked really quite splendid, but the wheels fell off around 15 minutes. The SB charge in mid, that Queen of Pain dive onto the tier 1 tower in the top lane. It wasn't the cleanest victory there for Secret.
The early game, yeah, it looked like they had a lot of answers for what was going on. Every single time that Misery made the rotation, they were there, but I mean, Weeha went absolutely insane this game. Jackie was able to create a ton of space too. The amount